All right, so we're gonna run through these.
Wow. Dechambeau would hit his ball and do all this stuff, and Spieth was only 5% through his routine. That's cold, man.
Let's talk about it. What's up, golfers everywhere? Welcome to the Pace of Change. We do it fast, we make it fun. This week, your hosts truly talk slow play at the Masters and beyond. Hey, check this out. We've got a fantastic lineup over the next few weeks. April 26th, we'll hear from NG360, that's right, Nike Golf Performance Specialist Logan K. Schwartz. On May 3rd, we sit down with the CEO of the National Golf Course Owners Association, Jay Karen, a self-described operations guy. So, as I'm sure he'd appreciate, mark that date down on your calendars. This is a do not miss podcast with one of golf's true influencers at the moment, NGCOA CEO Jay Karen. May 10th is another one you don't want to miss. Episode 18 with Dave Schultz, creator of Reality, an up-and-coming indoor-outdoor top golfish type facility where you can play 18 holes of golf indoors and outdoors at the same time. May 17th, we'll get the latest from Down Under with Speed Golf Australia founder Virginia Deegan. And May 24th, episode 20, will be with Rich O'Brien, a former disabled golfer, injured in a tragic, potentially life-ending golf cart accident. Notice I said former disabled. That story, May 24th. Don't miss it. www.paceofchange.com for all of our past episodes. All right, are you ready? Let's talk fast about slow play. Enjoy episode 15 with co-hosts Dude Spellings and yours truly, Scott Dolly. Hey guys, this episode of the Pace of Change Golf Podcast is brought to you by Taylor Brands. It's 2016 and it's never been easier to start a business, sell a product, or offer a service. But oftentimes the first step in the process, designing a high quality logo and brand, keeps many would-be entrepreneurs from moving forward. But what if you could design anything you need in less than 30 seconds at an affordable cost? Does it sound impossible? With Taylor Brands' online platform, you can. At taylorbrands.com, you can build custom logos, presentations, or even entire brands with ease. No hidden tricks, no pre-made logos. I've personally used their platforms a couple times now, and just about every other online logo design website you can find in the past. Without a doubt, Taylor Brands' logo building process is the easiest, fastest, and highest quality product I've ever tested. Now, I could easily spend hundreds of dollars on other crowdsourcing design sites, and unfortunately, I have. But don't make the same mistake. Try it for free today. You can go through the entire process and then decide if you want to make the purchase. And as a special offer to our listeners, purchase the professional bundle and receive a free social profile banner upgrade. Guys, that's a $25 value. Use the promo code PACEOFCHANGE at checkout. All right, guys. Okay, dude, we are back. Episode 15. Masters wrapped up yesterday. Man, we could talk about so many things, but let's focus on pace of play at the Masters. Obviously, we want to talk about Jordan Spieth, but I figured we'd do like these little 2-minute rounds, okay? You get 1 minute, I get a minute. Let's talk about some issues. Let's move forward. Are you ready to click the start button?
Ready.
3, 2...
Wait, hold on, who goes first?
Whoa. Huh?
Who goes first?
We're just going to, I think you're going to go first. That's how I always saw it in my head, was you going first. Okay?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, so it's going to be 3, 2, 1, and then click.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, click. Okay, you got 2 minutes. We got to talk about, no, go ahead, go.
Okay, so first of all, pace of play, Jordan Spieth.
Yep.
Incredibly slow.
Oh my gosh.
As a viewer, from the perspective as a viewer of the Masters, a lover of golf that looks forward to spending those 4 days every year, it was exceedingly, almost excruciating to have to sit there and watch this ridiculous pre-shot routine and the bantering back and forth with the caddy and the switching of clubs and this and that and the other thing. And most of all, most important, as a guy that doesn't have cable television, it was very upsetting that Spieth was so slow that I only made it to the 17th tee box on Saturday before CBS cut off the coverage because the round was so slow. 1 minute, bam, your turn.
Okay, I'm in agreement, but listen, do we really want the world's best player throwing a fit because he wants to play slower? Or should we be looking forward to having a number one player in the world that's throwing a fit because he's sick of how slow golf is playing and would like to play it faster? I mean, that's what I'm kind of waiting for is the world's best players to jump on board a revolutionary call to pick up the game. I don't think that's going to happen until we're able to show these guys out there on tour and other people that it's not just about playing faster because it's so darn slow, but we are on the wrong side of the bell curve. We are too far to the end of a bell curve of how fast you should play in order to get the maximum ability out of yourself and out of your game. That's my opinion. If everybody would speed up by X percentage, and it probably varies for everybody, but if everybody speed up probably 15 to 20%, then I think we could have a huge revolution in how much faster the game is played. All right, next question.
I agree with you, and I know there are certain players.
Okay, you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds.
Okay. There are certain players on tour who would agree with you, Brandt Snedeker being one of them. And I think a new one to the list, which we'll talk about later, is Dechambeau. He's a super fast player. But in general, I think most of those guys on tour like taking their time, and if they were pressured to play faster, there'd be protest.
All right, my opinion on Spieth exactly. Did his slow play cause, or was it a causative factor in him going bogey, quad on 10, 11, and 12? In my opinion, absolutely yes, it was. I think the pressure just mounts and grows and grows and grows the longer that you're taking, and it becomes way much more of a mind game than what it's supposed to be, which is reactive. And he knows that. When you're playing your best, you're not thinking. You're just out there swinging and going. So I think it definitely did play a causative factor. Bryson DeChambeau, let's talk about him real quick. Talking about him, single-length irons, we had, I believe it was in episode 5, somewhere between 5 and 8, we had Jaacob Bowden on. And Jaacob now has a new set of single-length irons coming out. So anyways, Sterling irons. Okay, so what do you think? I watched him play. He's super upright. He's like 13 degrees upright with all of his shafts. It was really strange watching him try to hit chip shots with like a sand wedge that was the length of a 6-iron or whatever. I think he has all of his clubs at the length of a 6-iron. The Sterling irons are going to be at an 8-iron. So it'll be interesting to hear your opinion on which one you would do, is the 6-iron length or the 8-iron length. But all in all, really cool to see like his composure. It seems like his pace of play is not an issue. Like he basically knows how to go through his routine, get up there, and get the shot done. What do you think?
Well, if you've heard any interviews with DeChambeau, he's very intellectual, very analytical. And for him, I think everything boils down to he's already made the decisions about how to hit certain shots before he even steps on the golf course. And so for him, once he's got however many shots are in his bag, right? He's got a stock shot for everything. I heard him actually say in an interview, if I want to hit my lob wedge 31 yards in air, I know that using Dave Pell's method, that's going back to 9 o'clock, and that'll go exactly 31 yards. So he's got everything dialed in to the point where as soon as he gets up there and knows what shot needs to be hit, he's already got something in the back pocket that is for that shot. So there's no thinking, no fidgeting, no indecisiveness. He already knows what he's doing before he even executes the shot. So that's why there's no big messing around before his shots.
I know. It also isn't that it's a matter of trust. It's a matter of trusting in the work that you've put in the amazing amount of hours that they put in. But it's all about that. It's all about, I know and I trust all of the hours that I put in. I know that when I take it back to 3/4, 8 out of 10 times, I'm hitting it 51 yards. Yeah. I have to be able to trust that and then just go out and execute it. So it seems to me like maybe on the trust scale in terms of where he is with his game, you know, he may be like leaps and bounds ahead of someone like Jordan Spieth, who's just mentally tough. Like he's just so mentally tough. And
he is and he isn't. Right?
He is, and then he exactly, and then he wasn't.
Okay, so going back to how mental toughness, preparation, all of this plays into pace of play. So, you know, Jordan Spieth clearly didn't have his A game, but he led the Masters for 3 rounds with his B game. And he called Cameron McCormack up to Augusta Saturday night before the Sunday round to work on some stuff because he was dissatisfied with his swing. And instead of taking away from the first 3 days of the tournament, you know what? My B game's good enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm leading the Masters. Not only am I leading the Masters, I'm leading by a bunch. I've dominated. I haven't ever lost the lead in 3 days. Instead of telling himself that, somehow all of this self-doubt snuck in. And now all of a sudden, what he was using to win the whole week wasn't going to get the job done on Sunday, apparently. And all of that led to, I don't know how fast his round was on Sunday, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of money it was a lot slower than his other rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like having deja vu as you talk about that. I'm going to take my minute here to talk about this because, like, I certainly am not in any way looking down on, like, what happened because I have an exact experience of what you're talking about. I went into a final round playing the second stage of Q School all week with my B game and ending up in 7th place after 3 rounds. I went out to meet with my swing coach that evening, and he was just like, man, you don't need to be out here. Like, you're doing fine. Like, if you're in 7th place with whatever you have, just take that and keep going until you get through, and then we'll go to work, you know? But I wanted to work on something. I wanted it to be perfect for the final round. And what do you know? I went out, I shot 78. I did not hit the ball good, and I missed going to second stage by 2 strokes.
No.
So it was tough, but it was that whole concept right there. And I did play super slow. My game got really slow and just like overly slow. And, you know, here's something that I want to point out, which is that I think if you ask most people, they'd say, yes, in all instances, you need to be mentally tough. Golf is 80% mental and 20% physical. Mm-hmm. But tell me if you disagree. I think that there is a certain threshold of pace or speed that you're playing at in terms of related to like physically how fast you're going, but also related to like how uncomfortable you are with the pace that you're going at compared to your normal routine. So you get very uncomfortable.
I know for me, if I'm in a tournament situation and the pace of play is too slow, it grates on me horribly. Because then I start worrying about the people waiting on me. I start worrying about, you know, if we get out of position, we're already on a 5-hour pace. And if we get out of position because somebody loses a ball or whatever, are they going to penalize us even though we are not the ones going slow? And like all this stuff goes through my head. And plus, you know, getting up there and waiting to hit. And like, what do you do for a minute and a half while you're waiting for the guy in front of you to hit? Or
yeah, exactly. That's like it's a long time to just sit around and. But what I'm saying is on the other end of it, on like the performance end of it, at some point when you play fast enough and you get out of your comfort zone, it's not about having mental toughness and it's not about having a mental game because all of that goes out the window, and you're out kind of past what feels normal, what feels comfortable, and so it's this new place that you're playing golf from, and so it's just all about instinct and being reactive, and that's my point.
Well, let me just go back to my experience in the Speed Golf World Championships in 2015, right? Where I was in much, much better athletic shape, and I knew that I was going to be able to run faster, even to the point where I could say, okay, well, I can run faster, still be less fatigued because I'm in better shape, take more time on the golf, focus more on the golf, and run faster and shoot a lower score. And what happened? No, I tried to focus much more on the golf and ended up shooting a higher score. So yes, I think there is a place where you can get playing so fast that it becomes more like a basketball game or a baseball game, where when you get up to the ball to hit the shot, you're just reacting like these other sports rather than having to go through all of this big routine. And it's a shame that, no one, I don't know any coach that says it should be that golf is a reactionary sport. They all teach that you need to have a specific pre-shot routine, that you need to take the same steps every time before you hit, that, you need to quiet yourself down and calm.
Okay, you're taking too long. This is too long. It doesn't need to take that long. You're so exactly right. And like, we know that, and that's what I wish. I think that, coming out of the media talking about slow play, just the big machine, it's all about the negative aspects of it, and it's all about how we need to speed up because the industry is suffering. And what I like to point out, and I point it out whenever I can, but anyways, the point is that like there's this whole beautiful side of playing golf faster that nobody's focusing on. And I think that's what we're trying to highlight is not only that fact that we've experienced, but bringing other people on that have experienced that fact, and then bringing on like the entrepreneurs and the people who are trying to open up the doors for that kind of experience on the golf course again.
So I obviously agree with you.
Yeah.
Let's expand that out. Say we get our pipe dream and our evangelization of pace of play gets all the way up to the PGA, and now all of a sudden golf, they're playing golf in 3 hours instead of 5. What happens to the Sunday broadcast? They don't sell as many ads. They're not, golf isn't on for 5 hours now. It's only on for 3.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to take that much time. And if you're on for 2 fewer hours, you're selling less ads. So maybe there's a monetary disincentive for the PGA to even address pace of play.
Yeah, but that type of attitude is pervasive throughout the golf industry, isn't it? The retailers, the manufacturers, everybody's doing the same thing, which is they're just trying to take their bite out of the pie, and they're not thinking about the future. So while they're busy, and not negatively, but while they're busy kind of gouging out as much profit as they can get, and having to be part of that engine and part of that machine that keeps churning out dollars, I think that then they're losing an audience.
Yeah, they're losing. It's typical corporate America, only think about the next quarter, not about the next decade.
No, but because what do golfers want? What are they complaining about? What is their problem? Just like it doesn't, see, to me, how could the golf industry not see it? Because as an entrepreneur, you're taught, like, go look for the problems in the world and then solve them, and that's your business.
Mm-hmm.
And so why isn't it that way for, like, the golf's governing bodies? Like, go look for the problems in golf, and don't study them for 5 years. Just, use common sense, figure it out, and come up with a plan. And I think they've tried to do that, but it hasn't been successful. Why not? Because I don't think they're involving us. They're not involving the players. They're not saying, hey, do you guys, obviously you're saying you want to play faster, so we're going to change our entire industry to give you what you want. That's what a business is supposed to do. That's what an organization is supposed to do.
So here's a question you may not know the answer to. I have no idea. How many employees does the USGA have? How big is that organization?
Okay, so I don't know, but it depends on how involved you want to talk about somebody being with the USGA. If you're talking about how many people work at like USGA headquarters,
how many people get their paycheck from
the USGA?
Yeah.
I don't think it's more than 1,000. I would be surprised if it was like 1,000. That would be crazy, right? If it was a 1,000-person organization, maybe if it was like 250.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day because I actually had a call with somebody from the USGA regarding handicap stuff.
Yeah.
And, it occurred to me, like, me, I can talk about handicapping and stuff like that all day long.
Yeah.
This person, they probably have a pretty nice job, and that's their job with the USGA is to think about all these handicap stuff that I think about all the time. And that's just what they get paid to do. Like I said with you the other day, if you really wanted to address pace of play at the USGA and PGA level, in addition to posting everyone's scores at the end of the round, you would post everyone's pace of play at the end of the round.
That is one side of it, and I do agree with you. On the other side of it is just like you can have fake propaganda that is false information, and that happens all the time. In the world of golf, they could create propaganda, which is true, but basically they could promote the fact that, hey, listen, we've done studies and we've discovered that if the average golfer were to pick up their pace by 31 minutes, then they can lower their handicap by 18%.
Yeah.
Why aren't they just creating messages after messages like that?
Like we discovered with our training, right? You cannot make improvements on anything unless you measure it.
Exactly. What is
right?
Yeah.
So
you can't manage what you don't measure.
Yeah. So the USGA and the PGA can say all day long, yes, we want to make things faster. We want to make things faster. But until you measure it, like the RNA did,
you can't manage.
And said, we have made our rounds 13 minutes faster. If you're not measuring it, what are you doing?
But even if you just collected the data without tying it to a specific customer or golfer, but even if you just collected the data for like 2 years, never told anybody, just having that data, like you said, having access to that data then allows you to manage the data, and there are answers that will come that you don't even know about right now because you haven't collected the data yet. Yeah. Go collect the data, then go mine the data, and as you mine the data, you're going to get revelations and go, oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. If we did X, Y, and Z, we've discovered that we can literally lower pace of play, by 20 minutes by just doing this. Now,
I love that the RNA doesn't care that they're going to embarrass people or name names, and that Jordan Spieth got a penalty at Abu Dhabi. Who cares, right? But apparently, I sense that the USGA and the PGA don't want to name names because they don't want to embarrass people.
Exactly.
So if that's the case, do what you're talking about, right? Measure anonymously and just say the average pace of play on this tournament and this day was this time.
Yeah.
We took all of the times of everyone. That's the time.
And it's not to place blame, or it's not. It's just to be able to say this is what the data says. That's it, just right there. So, all right, that's it. Our time is up. We have been through our pace of play discussion. That was fun. I'm glad it was short. All right, next week we've got a really great guest. And then the week after that, we've got another really great guest that we can talk a lot about pace of play and how we can start to bring time into the equation on the tee sheet and even on operators' bottom lines. How cool is that?
Excellent.
So it'll be 2 weeks from now. So that'll be episode 17. So thanks for your time, dude.
Next week we have Logan K. Schwartz.
There you go.
Personal trainer to many professional athletes. Started lots of high-end personal training programs here at University of Texas with both the men's and women's basketball teams. Total training guru stud, similar to Allan.
Awesome. Allan Phillips, that right. He was
Phillips.
On episode 3 and 4, I believe, or 4 and 5.
So you and I got our work cut out for us thinking about all that kind of.
That's right, man. 20 questions. We got to get them together. Hey, if you guys have any podcast suggestions for people we should talk to, or you can hook us up with somebody in the world of golf that's making a difference, that's being a thought leader or a pioneer, let us know. Dude, that was fun. That was fast. We'll do it again soon.
See you later.
Adios. Hey there, everybody. This episode is also brought to you by another awesome, forward-leaning, innovative golf venture called Rival and Revel. We all look forward to that next round of golf, a trip with old friends, or a rare moment of pursuing our passions late in the evening, the sun's going down. Their goal is to make this valuable leisure time even more enjoyable, efficient, and relaxing, offering a variety of branded golf accessories, club head tech covers, and the one and only Silo Golf Club carrier. This product is a game changer in the golf industry, and it may just be a game changer for you too. If you don't know what the Silo is, press stop. Head over to their website, rivalandrevel.com, and check it out. Whether you are the super competitive player or the one that just celebrates being out there, Rival and Revel's mission is to help you make the most of it. Now, they've got a special discount just for our listeners. Use the code PACEOFCHANGE at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order. Alright, episode 15 in the books. That is it for now. As always, thank you so much for listening, liking, subscribing, and sharing the Pace of Change Golf Podcast. Until next week, do yourself a favor on the course, pick up the pace. We'll be back next week with episode 16 and NG360, that's right, Nike Golf Performance Specialist Logan K. Schwartz.